put Nova Scotia first, we all win. When we celebrate our individual successes as communities, when I celebrate my neighbor's success as much as I celebrate my own, we all win. That's where we need to go as a province. I believe we can do it. If I didn't, I wouldn't spend as much time on the road as I have been. If I didn't believe in the men and women who put their name on the ballot to want to represent you, and believe that they also believe we could do it, I would stop now. But I believe Keith, Claude, and Stephen who are here, they want to represent you because they know the answers to our challenges lie within our own communities and within inside of ourselves. Some of you may have noticed recently I've been starring in a commercial, one that I'm not paying for. There was one put out by the government around my position around Hydro-Quebec, suggesting I wanted to hive off our energy security to the province of Quebec. Some of you may be surprised that's not quite accurate. You also may be surprised that I was the first political leader of any stripe to go to Newfoundland and Labrador to speak to then Premier Danny Williams about the possibility of looking at the energy security of Atlantic Canada, and all of us as provinces understanding and capitalizing on the resources that we have, from the Bay of Fundy to our natural gas to the wind regime, and yes, Churchill Falls. But you know what? It is not the concept of moving energy through the province of Nova Scotia from Newfoundland and Labrador that I'm opposed to. What I'm opposed to is us blindly signing a deal with Newfoundland and Labrador that puts ratepayers at a great risk, where there are so many unanswered questions. I believe it's my responsibility as a member who leads the party, but as an elected member who served in the legislature, to ask the kind of questions that I believe ratepayers should know. Pretty basic one. How much is that energy going to cost us? What will it mean to your or my power bill? And when you're unable to answer that question as a government or as a MARA or Nova Scotia Power, then I think we should ask ourselves, why are we pushing this project forward until we can answer that very basic question? We have said, as we go down the road of looking at Muskrat Falls, let's look at the other options that are in front of us. What happens if we took some of that money and actually invested it in the Bay of Fundy to harness that energy resource? What happens if we took some of our own natural gas and used that resource to generate power in the province of Nova Scotia? What happens if we invested in more wind energy? And yes, what happens if we signed a long-term power purchase agreement with Quebec, which, by the way, we already buy power from Quebec? Why wouldn't we look at those options in the totality of our whole energy scheme with one basic goal in mind: to provide secure, stable energy prices for the people of Nova Scotia? I understand why the utility is opposed to us buying more energy from Quebec, because we would only pay for the energy. We wouldn't pay a 9% rate of return on top of that energy. I really understand why the utility is against that. What I can't understand is why the government of Nova Scotia would be so opposed to looking at that option and other options that are in front of us. The consumer advocate, the small business advocate, and every other independent analysis now of the Muskrat Falls project is saying to government, slow down. There are too many unanswered questions here. Let's look at other options before we sign a 35-year deal that will put all of us on the hook. Newfoundland and Labrador tried that once with Quebec. It didn't work so well for them. Why should we repeat that same experience, except us sign on as the Quebec in this arrangement for 35 years? We're going to continue to ask those kinds of questions. And as we start down this road of moving into the campaign, we're going to continue to stay focused on one thing: What does it mean to the average Nova Scotian? What do the decisions that we make mean to the average Nova Scotian? Is the decision we're making putting Nova Scotians first? That's the only thing that should matter to us. We as a party have an opportunity here. Nova Scotians, regardless of where I go, have been disappointed over the last 4 years. They had high hopes in June of '09 that we were going to see something different, that government would be different. Well, boy, it's been different, and they've been disappointed. And what we need to do, and what we need your help to do, that if you're unhappy with the present NDP government, there's really only one alternative, and that alternative is the Liberal Party of Nova Scotia. We have an opportunity in riding in Kings South to actually defeat the Minister of Education and send a very clear message to any future government in the province of Nova Scotia. Don't solve your economic problems on the backs of our children. Invest in them. You have an opportunity to send that message clearly, not only to this government, but to any future government in the province of Nova Scotia. As I said to you when I started out, Keith has done his part so far by putting his name on the ballot. He needs your help now. He's going to knock on doors. He said 800.
That's what I did.
That should be done. That should be done in about 3 days. But he's going to need your help, because no candidate can cover their entire riding. I'm going to tell my own story, and I know people who've heard this before are going to roll their eyes. In 2003, when I won an election, I was at the Annapolis Farmers Market the following weekend. And if you haven't been to the Annapolis Farmers Market, I expect to see you there sometime over the summer, and I'll come to yours. This lady came up to me and she said, "Stephen, I want to meet you because I voted for you." And she said, even though I had never met you, I voted for you. And I voted for you because of Shannon Burney. Shannon is a lobster fisherman in my constituency, and he lives in the community of DeLass Cove. And Shannon had said to this lady, "I believe you should vote for Stephen, because I believe Stephen represents our views and values. I believe Stephen will be there for us if we need his support." And she said to me, "If Shannon Burney believed in you, then I believed in you." And that's what we need from you tonight. You're all here because you believe in the Liberal Party, you believe in Keith. What's going to be required from you as we move towards a campaign is that you're going to have to knock on your neighbors' doors and tell them it's time for a change. And we want you to be part of that change. And we want you to believe. We believe in Keith, and we want you to support us in that journey. That's how we win elections. That's how we turn around communities. By all of us working together, bringing as many people as we can to the table to make sure that we deliver the Liberal message. I want to thank Catherine and Simon for your commitment to public life. No one puts their names on the ballot by themselves. When they read the sign, they'll only see one name, but an entire family puts their name on the ballot. And on behalf of all of us, I want to express my great appreciation for you and for your commitment to public service and public life, for allowing Keith to go on this journey and supporting Keith as part of this journey. So on behalf of everybody in this room, I want to thank you for that.